What is going on, guys? Ryan back here again with another video. How you guys doing? Good morning. So, I figured I would try to make sense of a few of these rumors that's going around with this Xbox, and I'm also going to touch on a few other things that just recently happened. And I find it interesting how there is no reaction very similar to what if a PlayStation dude would do it, or a Nintendo dude especially. There's no reaction to this particular thing. But we're going to definitely get into that. But first, I'm going to start off with the news. That's probably why you're here, okay? So Microsoft and this new Xbox. Now, the new Xbox has been the center of attention for quite some time. More people are talking about Xbox than they have in a long time, mostly due to excitement for one, but also there are people who are questioning the possibility of a few things that Microsoft claims that they have mastered, such as the streaming-only Xbox. So, I have seen a lot of videos. Some videos make more sense than others. Some people are just literally saying, yeah, this is what they're going to do. This is what we did. And here's a recap. This is what we have. And then you look at it and it's like, what exactly are we recapping? Because you didn't explain anything. It's like you went from A, B to C, right? Well, dudes throwing out videos where they're basically at C, but they don't have the A and B. They don't have the foundation of A and B to get to C, to get to where, we are in terms of the information. But I am here for you. Now, this information I had to go back a little bit for, all right? I had to go back a little bit. I know I covered the Navi GPU. I covered the Zen processor, right? I covered all that, and that supposedly is going to be for the PS5 and possibly the Xbox Scarlet console, the beefier one that is, okay? So we're going to go over to the streaming one. Now, with the streaming one, Microsoft clearly has to go a different route with this streaming-only console. And the reason why I do believe that this could possibly be true is for the following reasons. Number one, when you have a streaming-only box, it has to be something that's simple, right? It can't be a legit beefy console. It's not going to be a beefy console with fans and all that in there. It's just not. It's going to be something that's going to be very simple, like Amazon Fire TV, so to speak, and of course, like a Roku box. So, according to this information, Microsoft could very well use the new Picasso APU for the Xbox Scarlet streaming console. Now, to go over the specifications, I'll put them on the screen right now. For the processor, it's basically an AMD Ryzen 5 3500U with Radeon Vega Mobile GFX. It has 4 cores and 8 threads, and it is clocked at 2.10 gigahertz. Now, the purpose behind this APU pretty much is for Microsoft to basically provide you, the consumer, low latency. And that is the goal with the new Xbox Scarlet streaming box. Now, they plan on achieving this by basically running ultra low latency tasks such as player movement and possibly the new Microsoft AI that we saw at E3. I know a lot of you probably forgot about that. Yeah, that particular, AI, they were really putting a bunch of emphasis on, and a lot of us were sitting there scratching our head why are they focusing on AI? Well, this could possibly go into that, and it definitely fits the narrative for sure. The local processor of the streaming console, while most likely allowing static, objects to use internet bandwidth to stream into the scene. So basically what I'm saying, they're going to run ultra low tasks, right? Ultra low tasks like player movement, obviously the AI, and then your actual bandwidth of your internet or whatnot is going to run the static image actually into the scene. Now, again, as far as this actually working, again, that's the main question there, because we saw Google pull this off, but also to Google's credit, Google was upfront with you. They told you that you need a very good internet connection to run this, pretty much, right? They were upfront with you. If you don't have a good internet connection, you're not going to get that crazy picture that they showed with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So they were upfront with you, and they definitely delivered with the promises of their new, cloud thing. Now, Microsoft did rebuttal and come back and say that, well, yeah, they did that, but ours requires less bandwidth, and that is very, very true. So we shall see when xCloud eventually drops later, next year. All right. So we shall see that for sure. Now, to break down the differences between the consoles, it's very simple. Everybody's getting this mixed up. I see a lot of people throwing a lot of theories out here. Let's definitely break this up. According to a reliable source, let's break this up. Scarlet is the umbrella with 4 consoles underneath it, okay? 4 consoles, supposedly, 4 consoles, each serving a distinctive purpose in the market. The first one being the Anaconda, which you guys already know is the full-fledged beast that is the successor to the Xbox One X console. That is Microsoft's main console that they are going to push, and supposedly that's going to be the premium-based one they're going to charge you whatever they can charge you for. That's the premium high-end console. Lockhart is going to act like an Xbox One S. It's going to be a cheaper option, supposedly for the mainstream gamer. But there are also questions behind that cheaper option. If it's going to be the cheaper option, does that mean that it's going to be a little inferior in terms of graphical power and fidelity to get it down to that price? Good question to note. A lot of people are not bringing that up, surprisingly, and I'm shocked by that. Now, this is where we get into the APU of this video. Maverick is the discless streaming only console that's supposedly going to drop in 2019. So this is the actual one according to this information. All right, and now this could change too, so don't take this completely, because this is they said it's expected in 2019, but plans can also change. They were very strict when they said that in the fine print, so it could change. All right, and the last one that they're supposedly going to make obviously was going to be like an Xbox One S. Is going to be a revision. It was going to be like a revision to cut down, like, manufacturing costs. So that one right there, I mean, again, it's just typical that a company would do that, especially when they have a console out there for so long. They come out with a console that's cheaper for them to produce to you, but also provides the same, graphics and whatnot. So that's what's going on in terms of news. Now, notice I made sense with this. A lot of people just don't make sense half the time when it comes to this news. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Maybe these people just do not know tech. I don't know. But there you go. That's the closest I can get to this information. In other news, obviously, before we get into this particular news, which is hilarious, allow me to get a word in from our sponsor of today's video. I'll be right back.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready for Captain Freedom's workout.
Yes, it's America's own Captain Freedom.
That's the ticket. No pain, no gain.
So, when you hear the tone, control your jealousy and leave your message.
Thank you, Captain Freedom. Thank you so very, very much. Now, let's get back into this. So, for the other piece of news I got for you guys, now this is from the Xbox camp, and it's pretty funny and it's pretty interesting because of the reaction of Twitter. Now, if I remember correctly, and yes, I do remember this very vividly. I'm going to say vividly, but, didn't Polygon make a certain tweet out not too long ago regarding the name of the whole new Xbox when they were saying my Anaconda don't want none unless you got games? Remember that tweet? Remember how people were claiming that they were unprofessional and they should lose their jobs? Yet Mike Ybarra clearly comes out with a tweet to start this ridiculous imaginary console war, and yet people are defending this when he actually starts going off the rails and attacks other people when they when they reply to this ridiculous post. Now, to summarize the post, let's go ahead and put it on screen. At store with an Xbox shirt on. Checkout person. Xbox person, huh? Me? Yes. Checkout person. I prefer PS4. Me. We all make mistakes. Checkout person. Me. Happy holiday. That's what he said. That was his post. So, not so surprisingly, a few people I associate with actually replied to this. One particular was, oh no, it's Alex. He actually replied to it. He said, tonight's episode of Things That Never Happened. Mike Ybarra, who obviously got offended by this, replied back. You're right. Instead of saying happy holidays, I told her to have fun at E3. Yeah. So the console war, it obviously reaches a little further compared to the little 5-year-old you see in comment section. Nah, it reached a little further than that. So for those of you thinking Microsoft is above the console war, they clearly are not above the console war. Notice Phil Spencer has not made a comment about this. Notice that Aaron Greenberg has not made a comment about this. Mike Ybarra simply said this. And not a single Xbox executive has come out and said, my apologies for his tweet. We didn't mean to egg on people or promote a fictional console war whatsoever. See what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And you know something? It's so ridiculous, it's so absurd, and it's so pointless. It makes me come back to the very said argument here. So, we all make mistakes. You know something, Mike? You're right. We all make mistakes. We make mistakes like thinking that you have your head in the game for next generation. You clearly don't have your head in the game for next generation. You're not. You don't. You don't. Game Pass this, Game Pass that, and of course they're talking about streaming consoles. Yeah, your head's totally in the game, Microsoft. Totally in the game. Pathetic. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. I'm not a fan of this decision whatsoever, but that's Microsoft for you. Another day, another Doug, right? Another day, another Doug. There you go. There you go. Mike Ybarra. Way to set the example for the next generation. Way to set the goal for Xbox dudes. Way to really be a white knight for your consumers by doing this. Congratulations. This was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, Lord. And I guess I'll end it with this bit of news here and go on about the day. And to end this video off, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate everybody who stuck around. If you still are here, appreciate you. To end today's video, we're going to go ahead and go to this particular article here. And this basically summarizes what I just said for the new Xbox, but it also sheds some light on what a lot of developers are feeling towards next generation for sure. According to this developer who is, he works for Hellpoint, this is what he had to say. He says streaming will not define gaming on next-gen Xbox and PS5 at all. Now, he was asked a bunch of questions, and he does go through a few of these questions. I'm not going to read all of them, but I will read the last two, because it pretty much goes into why it won't work, in his opinion, and why Microsoft is really going for low latency for the new Xbox. Okay? So we're most certainly going to get into that. So, the problem is that it's not something you can suddenly throw money at and make the problem disappear. The network latency in the last 20 years hasn't moved much. We are limited by the speed of light when it comes to this, and the data from your computer to your router to your neighborhood internet service provider to whatever switch to node to the server farm, you will end up with lag. There's nothing you can do about it. And he's got a very valid point. He's got a very, very valid point. Like I said before, and people like to damage control this, not everybody has insane internet. You see, the day this actually takes off, streaming consoles and all that, the day that happens will be the day that Google Fiber is worldwide and it actually offers a cheap solution like you will find with Charter Spectrum, stuff like, Infinity, right? The day that happens will be the day you will see consoles be able to do every single thing that Microsoft is most certainly banking on. Okay, that's what people are not getting, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. He goes on though. Streaming then will not define the next generation game consoles. Rather, it will be the means to expand the reach of gaming into new markets like Brazil as well as India and China. Now, that's definitely a good point for sure. That's obviously what Microsoft wants to do. They want to branch into new markets for sure, but they're trying to reach more gamers. They want to reach more PC dudes. They want to reach more of that, of them in that particular way. And that's true. That is very true. That's where Microsoft's focus is. Microsoft's focus is to reach out there, but it's not necessarily to compete. It just feels like, they're trying to be more than that. They're trying to expand to more stuff. And he goes on a little further. No, it will offer games to a new market, that can't buy consoles at the level of sales that happen where console gaming is popular, like in the USA, like China and India, and to those who don't have hundreds of bucks to buy a PlayStation, he said, but it's for $10 a month. They can play 10% of the PlayStation catalog that works well with streaming. That's awesome, and it's a lot of revenue for Sony as well. And it makes sense for Sony to have PS5 be backwards compatible too, because it opens up thousands of games for the streaming catalog. And in quotes, that's what he had to say. I couldn't agree with him more. That's basically what the plan is. Reach more markets, make more money, open up more avenues, and open up more possibilities in the market, for sure. That's the plan, ladies and gentlemen, and I could not agree with him more. All right, for sure. That's what's going on, though. That's the news I got for you in the Xbox camp, you know. And I got some more news, but, you know, I mean, I don't know if you guys want me. Well, I could go over it for you. Actually, no. I'll go over that. I go over that tomorrow for you guys on the RGT podcast. How about that? I'll say that for the RGT. That way you have some surprises for you guys to talk about. All right. Yes, RGT will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate you guys again for checking out today's video. If you guys liked the video, hit that thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Subscribe if you were new. Hit the bell icon to stay up to date with everything on the channel. If you missed my last video involving the whole drama surrounding Soulja Boy and all that jazz, I definitely do respond to it, but I break it down in basically a common sense type of way. All right. Without further ado, that's the video. Thank you guys again for checking out. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be easy. And I'm out of here. Deuces.